Hi, welcome back to Post TV, live from NAB 2013. I'm Randy Altman with Post Magazine. This is Mark Loftus.
Thanks for joining us.
We're here with FilmLight's Wolfgang Lemp, and he's going to, let's start off before we jump into some of the new products that you have. I remember when you guys first came on the scene, that was 12 years ago?
12 years ago, yes.
And now, I mean, you guys have developed this whole product line that essentially takes you from on-set to editing. So, just hoping that you could run down how your products are packaged for us.
Yeah, that's a very long story, complicated.
Okay,
So
we have some time. No,
started off with a single product 12 years
Yeah.
ago. It was the Northlight scanner, and the industry has changed beyond recognition, really, in many ways over that period of time. And we anticipate that it will change again beyond recognition in the coming 12 years' time. And we're just trying to sort of find our niche within that market at the very top end, at the sort of highly professional end, pushing the boundaries as we go along, as technology becomes available. And FilmLight, it's software color corrector, which when it was launched 10 years ago about, was something quite marginal looking back on it. And it is now the standard way of doing things, of course, everywhere. And at the time, to get the performance that was needed for the high-end work for DI done at 4K in particular, it's interesting about that 4K thing that seems to be coming up now, this year in particular. It used to be a big thing 12 years ago, I remember, and like our scanner was about 4K, and it sort of disappeared for a while, and now it's back again.
I remember people were freaked out about how you store all that data. Like, I remember people talking about it, and they're like, but what do you do with it all? And I think, like you said, it went away, and then it kind of came back, and now there's this whole workflow. So can you talk a bit about the, because you've got FilmLight 1 here.
Yeah, so the FilmLight product, what we did, we developed a special architecture that included the storage as an integral part of it, because we needed the bandwidth and we needed the capacity, and we wanted to be an interactive system that allowed us to have a really nice feel for the colorist to do his work. So to make that happen, we had to bind the storage very closely to the application, and we had this huge rack that we sold. It was called the FilmLight 8 because it was made out of 8 separate workstations, and we had FilmLight 4 that was a smaller version, FilmLight 2, FilmLight 1. And the FilmLight 1 that we have sold so far still had the integrated storage, but it was a smaller system. And what we can do today now, for a number of reasons, to do mainly with technology, which is to say, okay, we can decouple the storage because the bandwidth is taken care of by the latest networking hardware, 10 gigabit Ethernet, or the latest disk technology, and all we do is we take some solid-state disks as an internal cache, which at 2 terabytes in size is about the size of our original FilmLight system external storage, and have a more compact solution that is actually screamingly fast, but it gives more flexibility in terms of configuring it in the facility using an existing SAN.
So the user gets to pick what they either have installed or what they're comfortable with.
But we also have our own storage technology that was integral part of FilmLight, and decoupled that as a shareable joint storage that still works as well with FilmLight as it always has, but it also works with other products, other applications, and can sit there in the facility as a more widely usable product. So FilmLight 1 in that sense is a family of products, a diskless version of it, and one with 2 levels of integrated storage, and then on top of it an external storage shared box. So that requirement, if you want, that everybody wants their own way of doing things, that is still very much with us, and we respond to that by giving people what they really
Give
ask
them the
for.
option, don't tie them down to one specific workflow or technology. I also wanted to talk about Slate.
Yes.
So that's a smaller footprint. Is that, can you get into some details?
Yeah, we have a blackboard control surface that, again, we introduced about 8 years ago, which was quite revolutionary at the time. Very, very flexible, configurable, and we went beyond that with the Blackboard 2 about 3 years ago, that had soft keys where you could essentially map any function to any key that you liked. And we took that technology and brought it down in size, recognizing that the big finishing suite that people sort of takes the pride of place in many post facilities is not necessarily the only place where grading happens today. And so you do it more like an editing suite, tucked in a corner somewhere, or you take it on set or whatever. And so we wanted for that a more portable version of the control surface that still had the same flexibility and the same feature, but also the same quality feel that our big system has. And we showed for the first time here. It's got Slate, and
how much is it? I'm assuming a lower price point.
It is a lower price point. It's about $12,000.
Okay.
But that is as a standalone thing. There will be bundles together with various products that.
Okay. Well, I just we have just a couple more minutes, and I wanted to make sure that we touch on everything. So you also on-set is obviously a big deal these days. More and more is happening. So you have the flip.
That's right. Yes, and in a way we feel that being tucked away here in South Lower Hall is not really appropriate anymore for a situation within the industry where on-set and post is all a big blur, where the post-production already starts in pre-production, and where you have pre-visualization, you have post-visualization, you have the editorial process, you have the finishing process, and it all happens concurrently. And our philosophy around this is that we want to provide a mechanism to work on the color grading, on the look of a movie or commercial, whatever, at any time throughout the whole process. So you don't get distracted by things looking weird because you use raw files, or because you haven't got everything in context because it's all green screen or whatever. And there's a lot of stuff that we can see happening in terms of compositing, but also in terms of camera tracking, that will integrate on set into a very, very powerful system, application if you want, where you see things as they're meant to look like. And our product in that area, sort of the first version of it, is called Flip, and we showed it as a prototype last year at NAB. What we have now is a real product that has been tried out over the last year in a number of places, and has been very, very successful, and it has grown a huge amount of additional functionality, but we've also changed the form factor a bit, so it is now can run off battery, it's smaller, it's less noisy, and all the kind of things that you need when it's on set. You can drop it and it doesn't break.
You have one more product that I want to touch on before we're out of time, the Avid solution you guys have. It's a plugin.
Yeah, we have what we call Bayside Editions, a family of products that fits into this philosophy of providing grading solutions everywhere. Within the editorial is one of those situations. Within the compositing world, as part of Nuke, is another one. We show those here. What is new this year is the long anticipated base-layer editions for Avid on Windows. That is a bit of a departure for us. We have long supported Linux and Mac as a platform, and so it's taken us a bit longer than we had hoped, but it is now just about in beta and will be available very, very shortly. Cool. And I think it has had a very, very positive response.
Thanks. Well, Wolfgang, we're just about out of time. I want to thank you for coming by the Post booth here at NAB 2013. I'm Mark Loftus, again with Randy Altman. Stay tuned. We're going to be back in just a little bit.
Thank you very much.